if you're really trying to lose weight quick, fasting, go meat and veggies, only drink water, and I don't want to say this part, but probably crank out like 30 minutes plus of cardio every single day. You should be lifting during this as well. That's going to help speed your metabolism up, but you need to be eating enough protein to actually recover from that as well. Otherwise, you're just going to feel like shit. Yeah, episode 12 or 13. I suppose it depends where we throw this and stuff, because some of this is probably just gonna be out of order. Like, here's the order I'm vibing for this. Who really cares? Anyway, guys, yeah, this is Andrew with Pride, the Pride Fitness and Movement podcast, episode 12 maybe. I had an author that I was listening to, or rather I read his book, and I liked his first book so much I decided to get his second one. And boy, what a fucking mistake. I've got maybe 30 minutes left in it, and I don't listen to a ton of audiobooks, but when I do, it's usually because it's like, it's something that I'm like just kind of, I'm sort of interested in this, and I'll read it again if I really vibe it. But it was a book called Mastering Yourself, and there's like 1,000,001 books like this, but I like the guy's first book. It's just kind of like a little like life coachy, self-development stuff, and this one seemed to be his his magnum opus, so to speak, his big thing that he was like put so much time and effort into. Like I think it was like 600 pages or something like that. It was a fucking massive book. And I was like, okay, let's go through this. And it had like the subtext to the book was like all these different subjects where it was like, like life, mastery, family, health, relationships, this, that, blah, 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 like 30 different subjects on the front cover. And I'm like, that should have been a huge tip off to me. But anyway, I gave the book a chance. Okay. And, I'm going to finish it because I only have a few minutes left in it, but my God, this guy was like so out of his lane. It was ridiculous. Like he's a life coach, he does like business development and stuff like that. And the book starts like talking about like politics and the war in Iraq and like how all you really need to be healthy is an alkaline diet and chiropractic and like all these different things. And here's the thing is like some of the stuff that he was talking about, I'm like, this isn't bad information, but you're missing a large part of this equation. And that was kind of the funny thing. Like when he would start talking about fitness stuff, I'm like, this stuff isn't necessarily wrong, but there's still so much missing here, which that's kind of what happens when you have books and stuff like that too, is obviously you're limited in how much information you can actually provide in it. And how specific you can be. You got to be broad enough that, the average person can read it. But the issue with a lot of it was that he went so broad and included so many subjects. He like didn't get any depth in any of them. And it was just, oh my God, like the book was a freaking slog, and I'm still not even finished with it. I'll probably finish it today, but yeah, let that be a lesson to you guys. Read the Amazon reviews, because if I would have just done that, and like, don't be crazy or anything like that. Like get a general, I normally like to look at the 2-star and the 3-star reviews, because I find those to be the most honest. 5 stars, meh. 4 stars, those are people who are probably pretty honest. They generally liked it, but I find 2 and 3s to be give you the most general idea, because 2s are people who are critical but still actually read it, and 3s are people who read it and got something out of it. So that's my thought on it. But yeah, even my own feelings about the book, it was like the exact same. All the comments and stuff are like, yeah, like it's too many subjects from someone who's not qualified to speak on all of these things. So lesson learned, read the reviews sometimes to an extent. But let's get to it, guys. So we got 3 questions today. This first one is from Sierra. Well, guys, the holidays are coming up. How do we not get fat over the holidays? Boy, I'm going to tell you. 1, hopefully you've been exercising consistently. And if you haven't, man, this is the perfect time to start. It is right now at the time of recording this, it is October 7th. So we got, a month and some change until Thanksgiving. And then we got, before that, we got my birthday. You can Venmo me. I think it's think it's at Andrew ASFSE. But and then we got Christmas, and we got New Year's. So a lot of food's gonna be coming out, guys. How do you actually make sure that your metabolism stays up and gets you through this shit? One, don't make this a temporary thing. Make sure you're actually consistent. Make sure you continue lifting after all this stuff. But essentially what you want to look for is something called a reverse diet. And if you're already pretty overweight, this might not work for you. But essentially what a reverse diet is when you figure out about where your calorie intake is at right now. And then while you're lifting, while you're weight training, you slowly increase your calorie intake somewhere between 50 to 100. This is very generic, 50 to 100 calories a week until you notice that you've actually started to gain some weight. So like, let's say like right now, I think I'm like 175 or 176. So if I added 50 calories a day for the week and I find my weight didn't go up, great. My metabolism sped up. So I add another 50 to 100. Go another week. Oh, I'm still 175, 176. Great. My metabolism went up. I'm good to go. But let's say I hit it that third week. Oh, I gained 3 pounds. What's that all about? That's usually when you want to step it back a little bit. You haven't been building muscle quite as quickly as you would probably like to. Your metabolism's not speeding up quite as much. That I will say is one of the most effective things that I've seen as far as helping people speed their metabolisms up. But also just building muscle in general. I mean, like if you do a really, really solid reverse diet and then do a little cut afterward, like you will be shocked how quickly your body actually responds to it. The reason most people don't do this is because it's very tedious. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes you being very, very strict and calculated. And most people just don't want to put that much effort into it. But I mean, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing, try and pick my metabolism up a little bit more. But I mean, I also don't really care that much. Like it is what it is. But anyway, that being said, I hope that answers it for you, Sierra. If it didn't, go ahead and message me and we can get a little bit deeper. This next one comes from our cameraman, Glenn.
Yo.
You want to go ahead and ask that question, Mr. Glenn?
Question I got asked was, how important is breakfast?
So this is a question that someone asked you.
Yeah.
What's his general physique like?
He's medium, not fat, not skinny, just average, and he drinks like just a powerful coffee and then eats lunch.
Oof.
And I somewhat did the same thing, but not a strong sugary coffee. Okay,
so he's putting a lot of shit into it as well.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: he is having breakfast. It's a fucking pound of sugar. So he's like the word breakfast literally means break a fast. So I've talked about fasting in a few episodes. I've talked about it in a ton of my content in general, but breakfast is literally you are breaking a fast. You've been sleeping for hopefully at least 8 hours, and maybe you had dinner like 2 to 4 hours beforehand. So theoretically, you've been fasting for about 12 hours, right? The importance of breakfast is that is the first thing that your body is going to take hold of, and it's going to be the first thing that your body really absorbs. It's going to be much more receptive to it. So do you want the first thing that your body absorbs to be a bunch of sugar and creamer? Because that's something that a lot of people will say is like, oh, I'm just never hungry in the morning, so I just have a cup of coffee. And it's like, if you were having like, and this still isn't ideal. Like if you were just having a black cup of coffee or something like that, and maybe you toss some butter in there or something like that's what I tend to do, or I'll do like a cup of tea. Usually what I end up doing is I'll use that to kind of stoke my appetite first thing in the morning, and then I usually end up getting hungry about 30 minutes after that coffee or that tea. And there's some drawbacks to having coffee that early in the morning as well. And all my weird hippie granola friends that might hear this, trust me, I know. It's just where I'm at right now. I'm enjoying my coffee again. But breakfast is the first thing that's going to get into your system. It's also going to be what wakes your metabolism up. Like your something else that you can do. Something that I've talked about this before, and it's something that I do. So I'm a pretty big fan of Mountain Valley water. I also get spring water delivered to my house, but I mean the people who are watching this on YouTube, like you can see, I got a bottle of Mountain Valley here. Listen. Ooh, there we go. But like this thing's 34 ounces, and I'll chug like half of this thing before I do anything. So right when I get up out of bed, chug half the fucking bottle. Sometimes I'll toss a splash of salt in it. And that will normally stoke my appetite as well. A lot of times when people say how important is breakfast, what they mean is, Andrew, I'm not hungry in the morning. Well, you're probably not hungry because, one, you probably are dehydrated, or two, you probably ate really, really close to going to bed. So the importance of it, it's what starts your day, man. If you start your day with a shitty habit, guess how you're going to end your day? With another shitty habit. Like, this is just the reality, right? Reality of it. It's the reason that whenever I talk to my clients about it, I always talk about trying to make consistently small, good decisions that are going to compound over a long period of time. You make one bad decision, you're probably going to continue to make another bad decision throughout the day. So when you wake up and the first thing that you do is chug a bunch of water, eat a healthy breakfast that you prepared, like, you already won your fucking day. It has nowhere to go but up from there, provided you choose to continue doing that. Like, you already started your day off great. Congratulations. But Glenn, do you feel that answers it, or does that kind of skirt the question?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Just curious, what would you recommend? Like, I'm eating right now oats and just a cup of coffee, or green tea now.
Well, my general rule is make sure that you have some protein in your diet, or in every single meal, and that includes like snacks and stuff like that. So Americans, we have this idea of like breakfast food, which, I mean, go look at breakfast around the globe. It looks nothing like what we have in America. Breakfast food is the food that you eat for breakfast. So if that is steak and eggs, or bacon, or sausage, or a rotisserie chicken, like that is breakfast food. Breakfast food is whatever you eat for breakfast. So you don't need to get too caught up in like, oh, like it needs to be oats or cereal or bacon and eggs, because that's what breakfast is. Like, this morning for breakfast, what did I actually have? I actually had a kind of a breakfasty breakfast today. I had buckwheat, Brussels sprouts, and sausage. So I actually had like buckwheat cereal, for lack of a better word. Like, picture like oatmeal, but it's buckwheat. So I actually had something that resembles a pretty typical American breakfast. But yeah, I mean, toss a tiny little bit of veggies in there. Have some kind of protein source, and if you're trying to gain weight, if you're trying to build muscle, have some carbs in there. But one of the important things too is that be aware of how you actually feel after that. That's one of the most important things, because how do I know what I need to eat? It's because I've become pretty aware of like, okay, I ate sausage today. How did I feel? Well, I felt pretty good, but that's also because I'm pretty fat adapted. I do really good with a high fat diet. I didn't always though. But like, right now I had a pretty high carb lunch, and my energy kind of tanked a little bit because it was a lot of like fruit, is what it was. But the breakfast that you need to eat is the breakfast that makes you feel good. But as a general rule, there is like, you're always going to win if you have some kind of protein and some kind of veggies. And by protein, I don't mean fucking protein shakes, you guys. Like, try to eat some real food, please. But yeah, like, grab some shredded chicken and, heat it up with some Brussels sprouts or some spinach, and toss some eggs in there, and like, boom, you're set. There's dude, breakfast skillets are the easiest thing ever, and you can pretty much make them all in one pan. Like, there's no downside to a breakfast skillet as long as you feel good after eating it. Does that answer that?
That answers my question.
Boom, there we go. Hell yeah, you got it, brother. Alrighty, and this final one is from Christina, and she just said, I need to lose weight quick. What do I do? She's got a wedding coming up, so I get it. I debated answering this question because it's like, it leads to bad habits in the long term. People just end up, not wanting to put in. It's like the people overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a year, or some iteration of that. If all you're looking to do is temporarily lose this weight, you're definitely in for a pretty big upset, because it's going to tank your metabolism pretty quickly in the short term. So if you don't keep up those insane habits, you're going to end up gaining that weight back and probably a little bit extra. So that being said, how do you lose weight quick? You cut your arm off. Thanks, guys. No, you can try fasting, and that'll drop your weight a fair bit. But again, if you're a female, there can be some drawbacks to following really long-term intermittent fasting protocols. Like it can fuck your hormones up a fair bit. I don't really recommend female clients doing that unless it's very, very short-term things with a very specific outcome intended. But yeah, that's one of the easiest ways. And then in my experience, I have yet to have a client go I just call it the meat and veggie diet because it's something there's more to it, but it's that's probably the easiest way to sum it up. I mean, if you just go like meat and veggies for a week, I'd be shocked if you didn't lose like 5 to 10 pounds. So, I mean, doing that with a mix of fasting, making sure you're only drinking high quality water, preferably you get some spring water. So, I mean, if you're buying like Mountain Valley or you're getting it shipped to your house or something like that, and I'm not sponsored by Mountain Valley, guys. Please fucking sponsor me though. Your water is delicious. It's like thick. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, you know what I mean, Glenn? Mm-hmm. Like it is so, it's so good, man. Just chef's kiss. Great job, Mountain Valley. But anyway, again, I'm not sponsored by them. I really like them. But, that's probably going to be your best bet. Like if you're really trying to lose weight quick, fasting, go meat and veggies, only drink water. And I don't want to say this part, but probably crank out like 30 minutes plus of cardio every single day. You should be lifting during this as well. That's going to help speed your metabolism up, but you need to be eating enough protein to actually recover from that as well. Otherwise, you're just going to feel like shit. And then after you have lost all this weight really quick, please, for the love of God, pick up a consistent weight training program. I don't care if it's with me or with someone else. If you have questions, you can always hit me up, and I'm happy to sit down and talk with anybody about this. But that short term isn't going to last, and it's going to end up bouncing back a lot worse than it was. I promise you that. People who only use crash diets and crash weight loss programs, shit never keeps it off. Like the Biggest Loser people, who make these insane transformations, look at them. They can't keep up that level of activity, that level of strictness and self-control. And I think it was like the overwhelming majority of those people ended up gaining that weight back and more for a reason. So keep that in mind when you say, hey, I want to lose weight quick. Well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to gain it back quick too. So that's that, guys. Again, if you got any questions, go ahead and hit me up you can hit me at my personal, it's at Andrew PFM, or you can hit the fitness brand account, Pride Fitness and Movement, and get your questions answered there. Again, guys, thank you so much for listening. If there was something in here that you heard that you're like, oh shit, my friend needs to hear this, shoot that over to them. And you have all my gratitude in the world for that. Thank you guys so much. I am having a lot of fun doing this, so I hope you guys are having a lot of fun listening. So until next time, guys, my name's Andrew with Pride. We'll see y'all later.